I will start first by introducing myself very quick. So basically, I'm a software engineer at ContraForce, a startup that's specialized in providing SaaS services to simplify the cybersecurity life of small and medium businesses. What I do there is almost everything Azure and .NET. Back in the front end, I work as a full stack developer. My education is, I don't have formal education. My education is basically coming from Microsoft. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, certified solutions developer, and Azure developer as well. I do some training on my YouTube channel, AK Academy, so where I talk about Azure, serverless, and mostly Blazor and .NET. And currently writing my book that will be published early this summer, Mastering Blazor WebAssembly. So yeah, you can reach out to me on Twitter, YouTube, and also on my personal website that you can see below. So the agenda for this talk is going to be, I will just start by talking quickly about the Hack Together Hackathon, then the Microsoft Graph API and the SDK very quickly. Then I will talk about the Magic Note app, what it does, what it is, and what it solves, basically. And then we will see a quick demo of that. So basically, Microsoft announced the Hack Together app from March 1st to March 15th, which was a good opportunity for me because I was lazy to basically build something for Windows 11 natively. That was the main goal. But when I saw that there is also Microsoft Graph and Microsoft released the new Microsoft Graph SDK version, basically in our work, we are depending on Graph a lot, but we use Microsoft Graph using the REST endpoint directly, but not the SDK. So basically, that was a good opportunity for me to discover the SDK and then apply that in the real world in an app, then try to transform that into our work. So I'll move to basically just introduce the Microsoft Graph very quick. So basically, Microsoft Graph API is a REST web API or the set of HTTP endpoints that allows you to communicate with all the Microsoft productivity services and solutions like, for example, the Microsoft Teams, the messages, the calendar events, the OneDrive, photos, etc. So you can, using the Microsoft Graph API, you have a superpower basically to communicate or integrate your apps with what Microsoft has in that set of productivity utility that's being used across hundreds of millions of users around the world. So basically taking advantage of Graph gives you the power either to, if you have an existing apps, that you can extend their capabilities so your users can bring what they have from, like, let's say the calendars and events and meetings into your own app, or maybe you can build an app fully on top of Microsoft Graph if it's not just an extending feature, like for example, having a to-do app or the Magic Note app that I'm going to show in a bit, that basically depending fully on Microsoft Graph. So yeah, so and associated with the Microsoft Graph API, there is the Microsoft Graph SDK. If you want to communicate with the Microsoft Graph API, Microsoft Documentations is rich with everything you need to know, but you can either go with the calls manually making the calls using the HTTP providers, like just making the GET, POST, and PUSH requests. Sorry, I'm talking like a bit technically, but Microsoft also have the Graph SDK that's available for different programming languages. So you can leverage this package, whatever, if you are writing code with .NET, Python, or whatever. So you can, for example, I show here a code snippet from C# that actually adding a calendar event. So you can see how simple it is. You can just build a calendar object in here and then just call the post async method, and that's it. And Microsoft is also, there is on GitHub tons of samples that allows you to do this, which simplified the process of this kind of communication instead of just going and making the calls manually, which is basically what I was doing before. And we will keep doing at our work, but we will plan to move to Microsoft Graph SDK. So this hackathon was a good opportunity to discover this library a bit deeply. So right now, I'm going to talk about the Magic Note app, which is the idea that I decided to participate with in the hackathon. So basically, this app is using the AI, especially the Microsoft language understanding services, to basically, the idea comes from like a personal use first, because every day at night, I plan what I'm going to do in the next day from work, writing, because especially that I'm kind of a little bit multitasker. So what I do is I add like a couple of to-do items, then I add the meetings on the calendar, and then I proceed with doing some to-do items on the Microsoft To-Do app. So basically, that was a bit boring and switching between the apps, losing the context and stuff like that. So I decided to build this utility. Here you can find the link for the GitHub repo, where you can see all the code and all the description about the app and how it works. I'll put it in the chat soon. So here is the quick point of how the app actually works. So right now, or what I was doing before, is that if I want to add set of tasks, for example, tomorrow I'm going to write 5 pages, I'm going to work on this project, I'm going to record this video, and then I will be meeting with my friend or going play soccer or stuff like that. So I have to open each app and add the task exactly where, for example, the to-do added here, the Teams meeting in case there is any, and the calendar events. So basically, that's, as you can see, it was a bit boring for me having to switch between the apps and losing the context, and it's actually taking time. So I wasn't always consistent of doing that. So I decided that to do something to solve this issue by basically, when you have everything in your mind, so you can just have a single text box, or maybe you can use like the speech to text feature from your keyboard, whether you're on Windows or Android or whatever. So you can just say what you have in mind, all what you have. You don't need to switch the context or lose what you basically have at the moment. So give those to the Magic Note app, and then the Magic Note will be responsible for understanding what you are trying to do, and then it goes to each app using the Microsoft Graph and set this stuff. So this is basically what the main goal and motivation behind that. So I've done the work. So let's right now see the app in action, basically. So I will go this, and then I will go to the Magic Note, to the app. So the app currently is available as a Windows 10 or 11 app because I've developed it using the WinUI SDK. I was planning to make it available for Android and iOS, but for the sake of Hackathon, I just went into Windows because I wanted to get back to Windows development, as I have stayed like for more than 3 years away from that. So the first point is to log in with your Microsoft account. Obviously, you can log in with your work or your personal account. So I'll log in with my personal account here. So basically, as you can see, it's very basic, very simple, only one text box for all what you have in mind. So to not waste time writing, here I have a couple of stuff that I have. So for example, I copy this. So you can fill out this note using your natural language. You don't need to type anything in a specific way. So you can just through what you have in your mind directly in this text box. So for example, I will meet with John and Emma to study for the exam, for example, clean the house, read some pages, and meditate for a couple of minutes. And I need to go to the library at 9 p.m. So yeah, you just, after writing this, you can click the Analyze button. So the app basically proceeds with, this gives you the chance to review if the app and the AI what came up with is actually on the same page with what you have, because at the end of the day, even with all the development of AI, there is a big chance for mistakes all the time. So this gives you the chance to just to plan. But by doing this, basically, you're always having ideas in mind. There is no need to open those stuff. You can just write them here, click Analyze, and then right now it's just time for review if you make sure that everything is okay. So it detects what every sentence means. This one, like for example, study for the exam, it looks like a meeting because there is some people involved, like John and Emma. Clean my house, it seems the to-do task, read some pages also, meditate for a couple minutes. And this one will be added to the calendar as go to the library from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. So what it also does, when you mention some names within the note, it tries to go to your contacts and fetch those names with their emails. So basically, I've just mentioned here John and Emma, and here it tries to fill them all, like John Smith with their emails, Emma Watson with their emails. Also, if there is like a wrong email or the email is not mentioned, so you can basically update that, and you can check this like save contact changes after submit. So basically, this will update the contact on your contacts that are synced with your Microsoft account. So this also gives you a chance to make some changes, like I don't want to read some pages, like I want to write a couple pages. or maybe you can just get rid of it at all. So basically, this is it. Sometimes you just take a quick look and click looks good to me, or you basically make some changes, add or remove some stuff. So once everything's okay, you can just hit looks good to me, and this is all what you need to do. So yeah, here we go. Right now, the data will be synced with the Microsoft To Do. So right now, I'll bring it. This is the Microsoft To Do. So the 2 tasks has been added: clean my house and meditate for a couple minutes. And if you check the calendar in here, you can also see that if we navigate Wednesday, you can see that study for the exam and go to the library, and they have study for the exam twice because an email has been sent for the invite for my other emails. That's why you can see this twice. So we can demonstrate that the meeting is working properly. So if you open this, you can see that this is as a meeting, you can respond, and this one is as an event, like go to library. Yeah. So everything is just working fine. This is all what the app is basically doing. So, and currently I'm the only user of it, but that's not bad. So basically, this is everything.
Thank you, Ahmad. That was really, really cool. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
Thanks so much.